Bibles. We'll read a few passages of scripture standing, then I'll allow you to be seated, and then we will go from there. My translation will be from the New Living Translation. I pray God will come in even more knowing of our situation and circumstances with our building on today. Thank you all for bearing with us on this morning. 1 Samuel, this is Youth Sunday, the 17th chapter. So we'll read a few of the I'll read a few from the New Living Translation. I'll allow you to be seated, and as I kind of go through, I'll read, if you can just follow along with me. Because it is a very lengthy chapter, and I'll be reading some of the verses that are in there as well. 1 Samuel, the 17th chapter. If you have it by the words of amen.
Amen.
Verse number 4. And keep in mind, this is the New Living Translation. It says, Then Goliath, a Philistine champion from Gath, came out of the Philistine ranks to face the forces of Israel. He was over 9 feet tall. He wore a bronze helmet, and his bronze coat of mail weighed 125 pounds. He also wore bronze leg armor, and he carried a bronze javelin on his shoulder. The shaft of his spear was as heavy and thick as a weaver's beam, tipped with an iron spearhead that weighed 15 pounds. His armor-bearer walked ahead of him carrying a shield. Goliath stood and shouted a taunt across to the Israelites. "Why are you all coming out to fight?" he called. "I am the Philistine champion. But you are only the servants of Saul. Choose one man to come down here and fight me. If he kills me, then we will be your slaves. But if I kill him, you will be our slaves. I defy the armies of Israel today. Send me a man who will fight me." When Saul and the Israelites heard this, they were terrified and deeply shaken. Now, I'll be reading some more, but just for a text on this morning, my title is Strong Enough. Strong Enough. Tell your neighbor, strong enough. All right, you may be seated. There was a young woman by the name of Florence Chadwick. She attempted to swim from Catalina Island to the California coast back in 1952. This was in an attempt to set a record for covering the distance. When she entered the water, a heavy fog had settled itself on the path before her. Blinded by fog, she became disoriented and discouraged and gave up. When she finally decided she could go on, her escorts in a boat helped her out of the water. The escorts, they feared to tell her the truth. Florence was less than 300 yards from the goal. Her only reply after learning how close she actually was, "All I could see was hopelessness." A cloud of vision kept her from victory. Congregation on the day, how do you see your challenges? When you stand on the hillside and see a 9-foot-tall giant taunting you, how do you view him? Is he an insurmountable obstacle or an opportunity for the glory of God to be revealed? See, we can't avoid our Goliaths. They are necessary to our growth as Christians, as believers. See, your Goliath may be an addiction. It may be a habit. It may be an attitude. It may be a job layoff. It may be a financial problem. It may be a marital problem. It may be an illness. But one thing about it, we all will face a Goliath. And by looking at this incident in David's life, we can learn some principles on today, people, about facing the threatening, discouraging obstacles that come up in our life as Christians and as believers. You know, we can look at this, we can look at Goliath basically in one or two ways. I'm going to share with you on this morning. The eyes of the faithless or the eyes of the faithful. Tell your neighbor, strong enough.
Strong enough.
Haddon Robinson has said, in any situation, what you are determines what you see. And what you see determines what you do. You got to keep that in mind now. In any situation, what you are determines what you see. And what you see determines what you do. As we view these two views of Goliath this morning, the first view is the limited view. How many know about the limited? For those of you that ain't familiar with the limited, young people, as you kind of get older, you realize that the limited, especially your parents, and when you go shopping or something, and you always see there is a limit.
All right, make it plain.
I know we have some shoppers in here, and you read the coupons as best as you can, and when you find out it's such a great deal, but when down the bottom said there's a limit. I remember, I know that we people that are, I would say that are kind of very intellectual when it comes to the limits, that we know how sometimes to persuade the limits, especially those of us that have extra family members.
Extra family members.
We somehow manage how to be able to get more than what we're supposed to get at some time, even though there is a limit.
Yeah.
You know how I go in the store and when I come out, I send somebody else in. I'm quite sure we don't have nobody here to do that.
That's how you get around the limits.
Yeah, but that's how you get around the limits.
Yeah.
How many did you get it? And you know what? For you young people, you need to learn now, because if you don't do what they tell you to do, if you don't come out with what you're supposed to come out with, it might not be a good thing. But for those of us that know, because when there is a limit, that they don't mind on the other side of telling you you can only get 2. I know one of the things that really came out, and I know that people buy sugar. Boy, when sugar go on sale. And boy, my dad is somebody, he's very happy about getting those sales when it comes to limits. And he'll call and tell you, they got a sale on this, but you only get 2. And so before you know it, you know how we are. We don't mind traveling, or we can get a good sale. We'll go from the north side to the south side, to the west side to the east side. And we'll come back, we have 8 of what we supposed to have. We'll be smiling. We know, even though the gas don't matter. Because when you feel like you're getting the deal, you do what you have to do. Yeah. Mamas be smiling. Dads be happy, cakes will get made. But then there is the limited view, though, sometimes, of the faithless that brings about fear, which can result in a dominance by the enemy.
Yes.
See, fear comes when we live by sight and not by faith. See, the view of the faithless is the view limited by sight. See, it is a limited view because the spiritual is not involved. You only have your natural and your physical. No spirit at all. And see, in the limited view, we see obstacles as undefeated giants because of their imposing physical character. Now, we just read in regards to the character, just trying to lay something out for you. You know what? This has to be a real big giant. Because he's actually taller than 9 feet. Now, for those of us that probably know, or many of us probably seen, or somewhere along the line, we probably viewed and then where they heard talked about Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille, I believe, was 7 foot tall. And once you think about somebody that magnitude, 7 foot tall, and you think about somebody 9 foot,
Wow.
whoo! Just trying to give you something to think about. For a little vision. You know, everybody can get vision. Now, we think of somebody 7 foot, then we talking 9 foot. And a little bit more over than that. And then, let's just describe, because I'm going to kind of give you the mention of this armor, because I'm going to give you the details of his weight, so you kind of put a visual on this. So his helmet was of brass, and it was 10 pounds. A coat of mail. Now see, the coat of mail had to do with the linen cloth that had metal that was attached to it, and that weighed in itself 195 pounds. Woo! Some of us can't even push. Some of us can't even try to, even move 195 pounds. Let alone think about 195 pounds. And when you really think about it, some of us can't even lift our own weight. Nope. I mean that in the sense of, it's time to do your workout. Now, I don't want anybody to take it in the negative connotation, but let's just say, if you ever went to a workout and you are, per se, whether it be a bench or a press, and the person is trying to help you the first time, and you would try to get it, and you would easily be able to tell whether or not you can get that weight because the person be right there saying, I can't get it. And then that spotter that's there, and if anybody knows what your spotter is, anybody, I'd be blessed to have spotters. It's a good thing to have a spotter. And when you go work out, you're going to need a spotter. Now, if you ain't worked out and you're going to try to go, if you don't got no spotter, that's a bad thing.
That's right.
You ask yourself to inflict some pain on yourself. But there's something about when you really take it to mind. This is just his shield. The coat of mail, which is 195 pounds. Now we take that along, we have the 2 greaves for his legs were covered, they were 20 pounds. The breastplate was estimated at 20 pounds as well. The spearhead itself was 23 and a half pounds. The sword itself was 10 pounds. The shield was 30 pounds. And so this giant, Goliath, is basically here with 318 pounds. We talking weight. We talking armor. We talking somebody made. So just keep that in mind. Your Goliaths. Those things that look big to you. Limited view. Because in verse 24 and 25, it reads in verse 24 and 25, it says, as soon as the Israelite army saw him, and keep in mind, New Living Translation, as soon as the Israelite army saw him, they began to run away in fright. Can I get that? They looking and taking out running. Now you can kind of imagine that here we are, he ain't even, came down and he tried to attack him, but now they just saw him and burn out. Anybody guilty of that? Truth be told, we done seen some things that kind of look like that, if it look out of the ordinary, you know good well. Anything that don't look like I can size up with, like I don't have a good shot at it, let's go regroup and come back. But as soon as they saw him, they began to run away in fright. Now,